I saw her dragging a body wrapped in a bloody cloth behind her buka, but she didn't see me, and that night the meat in my soup had a bitter taste. That was the night everything changed. My name is Oki, short for Okachukwu, but nobody calls me that unless I'm in trouble. I was born and raised in a small village called Umu-Oba, tucked deep inside the red belly of eastern Nigeria, a place where people believe in yam festivals, ancestor spirits, and where your shadow must not walk faster than your body. If you've never heard of Umu-Oba, that's fine because most people haven't. It's the kind of place you pass through without knowing, one long dusty road, a market that smells like smoked fish and palm oil, and a church with a cracked bell that only rings when it wants. People say Umu-Oba is peaceful, but peace in my village doesn't mean safety, it just means the evil there knows how to hide. I grew up like most village boys. I fetched water from the stream, climbed mango trees, chased goats for fun. I helped Mama pound yam on Sundays, and I sat quietly when elders spoke, even when I didn't understand a word. In Umu-Oba, people don't die for talking, they die for knowing. And what I knew, what I saw behind the buka that night, changed everything. Our people lived with unspoken rules. We didn't sweep at night. We didn't whistle after sunset. And we never, ever, asked too many questions about food. That's why Mama Amanda fit in perfectly. She was the woman with the shiny black skin that glowed like wet charcoal under the sun, and a voice that always sounded like it was hiding something half sweet and half sour. Nobody knew where Mama Amanda came from. She just arrived one rainy morning wearing a blue wrapper and carrying a crying baby tied to her back. Her smell always announced her before she arrived. A thick aroma of firewood smoke and crushed spices that is so sharp. That smell followed her like a shadow, one that didn't need sunlight. Mama Amanda ran the buka near the market square. She rented the broken stall by the market, the one other traders said was cursed because the last two owners died within a year. The zinc roof was rusted, the wooden benches wobbled, and the cups were always stained, but nobody cared, because the food was magic. Her pepper soup was famous beyond our village. People swore it could cure stubborn fevers, bring favor to barren women, and even make mad men sit still. Some said she had the hands of the gods, others whispered that she cooked with something more than spice. At first, just small things, yam porridge, beans, fried akara. But soon, she introduced her pepper soup, which was thick, dark and spicy. Not watery like the others. It smelled like heaven and felt like fire going down your throat. Men came from neighboring villages just to taste it. Truck drivers, politicians, even soldiers. Within a year, her buka was the busiest in the village, but her kitchen, nobody ever entered. Then, strange things started happening. It began with Ifenanya, the egg seller. She vanished after market day. Her basket was found at the stream, eggs smashed, and feathers floating in the water. Some said they saw a shadow grab her near the bushes. Then Okonko, the madman who danced during storms. People said he talked to spirits. One day, he went into Mama Amanda's buka, and never came out. Soon, others began to disappear. Amoka, the widow who fetched firewood in the mornings, Namdi, the orphan boy who helped people fetch water, Edora, 7 months pregnant, last seen entering the forest path behind the buka. No one heard screams and no bodies were found. Only rumors, but Mama Amanda's pot was always full, her meat was always fresh and always tender too. One night, I went to her buka with my best friend Samson. We were both hungry from clearing bush near the shrine all day. Samson got extra meat. He picked one piece, held it up with his fingers, and laughed. This meat too sweet. If it be human meat, oh. People laughed, even Mama Amanda laughed. But her laugh was too long and too loud, and her eyes. They didn't laugh, they looked through us. That night, Samson started vomiting, violent, painful vomiting. He said it felt like his stomach was boiling. By morning, he was dead. Doctors said it was food poisoning, but nobody blamed Mama Amanda. The elders said, "Do not point fingers with unclean hands." And everyone fell silent. I couldn't sleep. Not after Samson died. That Thursday, I took a longer route home, one that passed behind Mama Amanda's buka. It was quiet. Too quiet. The crickets weren't even singing. Then I heard a dragging, a wet sound, like something heavy being pulled across the sand. I had to hide behind a big tree, and I saw her, Mama Amanda, dragging a white cloth soaked in red. Someone was inside. She opened a secret hatch behind her kitchen, pulled out a large pot. Already bubbling, she whispered something in a strange language, then kissed the cloth. "Tonight, the gods shall feast." And she began cutting. The knife glowed faintly. She started to hum. Not a song, a chant, the same one I later heard in my dreams. I ran home, trembling. I told my mother. She slapped me hard and said to me, "Do you want to die?" Then she locked the door and placed bitter leaf on the windows. "The land has ears," she whispered. "And not all things cooked are meant for the stomach." That week, I saw things. Goats ran away from the buka's backyard. A child said she saw a woman with no face stirring a pot there at night. One of Mama Amanda's servers fainted and said she saw her late brother's head in the stew. People whispered, but no one acted. Then, the stranger came. He called himself Ola, a cloth trader, but he didn't sell anything. He washed the buka, took notes, walked around the edges of the compound. I followed him. One evening, I confronted him. He looked at me with tired eyes and said, "I'm not a trader. I'm an officer. I've been tracking missing people across 5 villages. All roads lead here, to Mama Amanda." I told him what I saw. He didn't believe me, so I said, "Come tonight. I'll show you." That night, he returned with 3 plainclothes officers. We waited behind the buka, near the abandoned toilet. Then, the dragging began. Mama Amanda emerged. She looked wild. Her eyes were red and her lips was moving without sound. She carried a body. Then the officers rushed her immediately. She screamed aloud immediately she saw them, beat one of them, and started speaking in tongues, languages no one understood. The police officers found freezers filled with human body parts, pots boiling several heads of humans, different charms tied with baby teeth and hair, and a notebook with names, dates, and descriptions. Some names were crossed out. Beside them, paid elders, pastors, even the local chief. They knew. They paid. Mama Amanda was taken to prison, but 3 nights later she was dead. No wounds, just her face, frozen in terror, as if she saw something no living person should ever see. One guard lost his mind. It was said that he spoke with the dead all night. After Mama Amanda's death, the buka was burned down, so if you ever pass through Umu-Oba, and you feel hungry, and you see a woman smiling behind a pot, stirring something that smells too good to be true, walk away, because sometimes, the meat in the soup is not from the bush. Sometimes it's from the neighbor who vanished, or the madman you laughed at, or the child who didn't come home. In Africa, we say, the pot does not speak, but it remembers every scream. Mama Amanda is gone. But the silence she left behind is louder than drums. The land where her buka once stood, nothing grows there, not even weeds. Even dogs refuse to bark near it. And when it rains, the smell returns. That sharp scent of pepper soup and blood. Some say, if you stand close enough you hear her humming and calling, because evil does not die, it waits. It changes face, and it opens a new buka somewhere else, so next time you sit at a roadside joint, and the meat is soft, and sweet, and melts on your tongue, before you take another bite, ask yourself, whose meat is this? And if your stomach suddenly turns, don't scream, because screaming never helped the last ones. If this story chilled you to the bone, let us know in the comments. Tell us where you're watching from and if you've ever eaten from a buka that felt off. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more true African folktales, because some stories are warnings, and some stories are still happening. Thank you for watching.